all the mothers and future mothers a very, very happy Mother's Day. And after today's program, we have lunch upstairs, cooked and served by Sai Brothers in honor of Sai Sisters. So please don't leave without having your lunch upstairs.
Om Shri Sai Ram. I offer my humble pranams at the lotus feet of our dear Bhagavan, Sri Satya Sai Baba. Sai Ram to all of you. Today, we are gathered here to celebrate Mother's Day and Easwaramma Day. Easwaramma Day is celebrated as the anniversary of the passing away of our Lord Sai's mother. Easwaramma was very fond of children and was one of the pioneers of the Bal Vikas movement. She was also an embodiment of love and sacrifice. She, like all of our mothers here, has truly set an example of leading a life of purity, a life with divine love, devoid of any expectations. In order to achieve purity, one must have love for God. Swami says, when we love God, we become automatically fearful of sins. This fear of sins unites us as one humanity. And so, purity leads to unity, which in turn leads to divinity. Today, we SSE children have gathered to present our cultural offerings on this very theme of unity, purity, and divinity, to imbibe the highest spiritual lessons from our Divine Mother Sai.
In Prashanti Nilayam at early dawn, everyone in the mandir chants Om 21 times daily. Each part of this chanting is significant, and knowing its significance can make the spiritual discipline more meaningful to us. Om is a verbal symbol of God, says Swami, and it announces the Lord's presence. It is a primordial sound, and when chanting Om, we are calling God, and we are also affirming that we are God. The group of students will continue on the significance of Om.
Omkaram bindu samyuktam nityam dhyayanti yoginaha kamadam mokshadam chaiva Omkaraya namo namaha Omkaraya namo namaha Omkaram bindu samyuktam nityam dhyayanti yoginaha kamadam mokshadam chaiva Omkaraya namo namaha Omkaraya namo namaha. Salutations to him who lives on the spiritual heart center as Omkara, on whom the yogis constantly meditate. All our desires, big or small, are granted when one meditates on Omkaram. Salutations to that Shiva who is represented by the syllable Om. Om is pronounced as A, U, and M, where A stands for Akaram, means waking state, U stands for Ukaram, means dreaming state, M stands for Makaram, means deep sleep state. Silence, the fourth state, called Turya, is the state when the mind moves between two opposites of sound and silence. calms our mind.
It helps us focus in our studies.
Enables us to perform a better job.
Do more work in less time.
Helps us remember what we learned for a long time.
Sharpens our memory.
Keeps us alert.
Helps us think fast. Reduces stress.
Builds confidence in us.
Helps us overcome shyness.
Makes us multitasked.
Divine glow radiates on our face.
Last but not least, we'll always be happy. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Over the past 1 month, when I've practiced Omkaram, it has made my progress in school better.
Chanting Om made me be in first place of math competition.
The day before my science fair presentation, I practiced Omkaram, and my presentation was so good that I got a prize.
I got extends in spelling.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Okay, moving forward, we all know that everybody loves a good story. And Swami used to teach us many valuable lessons in the forms of his famous Chinnakathas, or short stories. The Group 1 students will now be demonstrating a famous Chinnakatha about the importance of doing good and the purity associated with good deeds. It is called The Thirsty Crow.
The value of the story is right conduct. Sub-value is perseverance, persisting in right action despite obstacles or difficulties.
Swami's quote. Swami says to cultivate good qualities, it requires persevering effort. You'll have to cross many hurdles.
They went to the crow. It was very thirsty. It looked everywhere for something to drink. Finally, it found a water pot near a well. There was very little water in the pot. The crow looked around for something to do. It saw some stones nearby. It thought of a plan. It flew over and picked up a stone. It flew back and dropped it in the water. It continued this process until it had used up most of the pebbles. It looked in the pot. The water level had risen. The crow quenched its thirst and flew away happily.
If the pot is our body, then the water is the happiness that is in our heart. The pebbles represent the good deeds that one does.
Having born as human beings, Swami says that we have to sanctify our lives by engaging ourselves in good deeds. In this way we can be happy, because by nature man is a happy being. Be kind to others. Be nice nice to others. Take turns.
Lend a helping hand.
Obey rules.
Say sorry. Don't talk ill of others in their absence.
Don't push things on people. Respect others and their beliefs. Be responsible for your actions.
Always adopt good manners.
Don't be mean to others. Obey the safety rules.
Be on time.
Friendly.
As one gets to do more and more good acts, we start feeling good, and gradually the happiness grows in us and will ever be in us. As the crow quenched his thirst and was happy, so too man is thirsty for happiness and can quench his thirst by doing good deeds. As the water rises up, small droplets of water fall around the jar, meaning as one does good. Not only they are happy, but people around them are also happy.
Before we move on, I would like to wish everyone a happy Mother's Day. Swami says that if one can truly understand the love of one mother, they can understand the love of God, which is equal to that of 1,000 mothers. A mother is the instrument in God's hands, and also a mother comes first in the Vedas. The Group 1 SSE students will now explain to us what mothers mean to them. This is called My Loving Mother.
Mother plays an important role in the family. She keeps the family together. She's caring and makes the perfect food for me. Mother gave birth to me and loved me both faithfully and loyally. She is respectful and teaches how to respect others.
My mother helps me figure out right from wrong. She also encourages me to do my best and be the best in all my activities.
My mother is kind, caring, and loving. She is always helping me learn new things. She also reads books to me. Her love is sweet and powerful.
My mother is always willing to help me. She cooks delicious food and gives me medicine when I am sick. She also is very patient and loving.
My mother takes care of me and teaches me lots of things. A mother's love is unconditional and powerful. Nothing can break a mother's love towards her child. I want to be like her because she sacrifices lots of things and loves me a lot.
My mother takes care of me and loves me a lot. She is there for me whenever I need her. I care a lot for my mother.
Mother's love is very powerful. God created Mother to help us understand love and love all.
In short and sweet, Mother is
And modest.
Oh, one and only.
T. Thoughtful.
H. Helpful.
E. Exciting.
R. Rad.
Now move on to the next presentation by our Group 2 children. This presentation will be about the 8 flowers of worship. We all offer flowers to God when we worship Him. However, these flowers might fade away in a day or two. In fact, there are 8 special types of flowers that God loves the most. We will soon learn what these special types of flowers are from Group 2's presentation. We actually don't have to go all the way to the grocery store to buy these flowers. We can grow them right in the garden of our hearts. When we offer these flowers at the lotus feet of our Lord with all sincerity and devotion, we can enjoy the bliss that Swami showers on us. Our Group 2 children are practicing these virtues and they now wish to share their experiences.
Sayam, for our project, we've tried to incorporate these flowers in our daily life and see how well we've been doing.
I chose to practice the virtue ahimsa. Ahimsa means nonviolence. We should practice ahimsa by not fighting with anyone through your thoughts, words, and actions. I practice ahimsa by not fighting with anyone. For example, when I try to play video games, my mom just comes in and interrupts me and says that I have to do my homework. Sometimes I get really mad so I ask her if I can just play for a couple minutes. But if she says no, I get really mad and then start yelling at her. I am not following ahimsa because I'm not doing the part where you have to watch your words. So I'm just yelling at her. I dedicate this flower of ahimsa to the lotus feet of Satya Sai Baba.
I chose to practice the flower Indriya Nigraha. Indriya Nigraha means the control of senses. This was hard for me because sometimes when I start laughing, I can't stop. Yesterday in a class, one of my friends said a joke, and I was laughing so hard that when it was time to come back and pay attention, that was a bit hard for me, and I was laughing throughout. Also, sometimes my friends will be saying something, and I'll end up listening to them when I shouldn't have been listening to them. There, I wasn't controlling my ears, and I was listening to something I shouldn't have been. I'm getting better over time by practicing this, but I'm still having trouble with this. I dedicate this flower at the lotus feet of our dearest Bhagavan. Sayonara.
I chose to practice the virtue Sarvabhutadaya. Sarvabhutadaya means compassion to all beings. We should practice Sarvabhutadaya by not hurting anyone's feelings. Sarvabhutadaya is also like ahimsa, where you should not think bad, speak bad, or do bad. I practice Sarvabhutadaya by not hurting my friends and family's feelings. For example, when I went to my friend's house, he was not sharing his toys with me, so I asked nicely and politely to him. He said no. So I thought I should not hurt his feelings by yelling at him. So I just said, when you're done playing with the toys, it can be my turn. I dedicate this flower of compassion to all beings, to our beloved Satya Sai Baba.
I also chose to practice the value Shama. This was really, really hard for me because Shama means forgiving and forgetting. My mom would tell me to do something and I either just finished that or sitting down to do it. I would get all mad at it and my mom, I'll be like, Mom, I just did that, or I'm just about to do that. And she would get all mad at me and I would make a big deal out of something that's really small. This is really hard for me to practice because every time I catch myself yelling at her or getting mad after I do it. So I can never stop myself. I'm trying really hard to control this, but I'm getting better as the days go on. I dedicate the flower of Shama at the lotus feet of our dearest Bhagavan.
My flower is Shanti. question. Do you have a hard time agreeing on things with your friends or family? Well, that happens to me sometimes with my brother. We disagree with each other, we get upset with each other, but it is not his fault. In fact, the fault lies in no one. Understanding something from the other person's point of view can help you achieve peace of mind. I will practice Shanti by seeing the good in the other person and separating the opinion from the person. Saram, thank you. My other flower is tapas. I chose to practice this virtue of tapas. Tapas means penance. It is easy to get distracted and find my mind wandering off while doing homework or eating. I will practice tapas by just letting the thoughts pass by and not letting them take control of my mind. I dedicate the virtue of tapas to our beloved Bhagwan Taram.
I chose to practice the virtue of dhyana. Dhyana means meditation, and this is how I practiced it. I picked one time each day and consistently followed it every day. I have to admit, it was a little hard trying to incorporate dhyana in my everyday life, trying to keep up with my school homework and practicing my extracurricular activities, but I did it. And these are my results on dhyana. I dedicate the flower of meditation at the lotus feet of our beloved Swami, Saram.
Now our pre-SSE friends will join us and dedicate their flowers to the lotus feet of our dearest Bhagavan. Yeah, sorry.
I chose to practice the value of satya as well. Satya means truth, but it does not only mean speaking truth all the time, but it also means recognizing the common truth in everyone and everything. It was a little hard trying to practice satya, but once you work on it, it becomes very easy. Like once, I was putting nail polish on when my mom asked me if I was done with my homework. I quickly replied yes, even though I didn't finish my homework. I later realized that if I had told the truth, that I wouldn't have to suffer through sitting up all night trying to finish my homework. I dedicate the flower of truth at the lotus feet of our beloved Swami. Saram.
Now we'll have our pre-SSE friends join us and dedicate themselves to the lotus feet of our dearest Bhagavan.
Ahimsa pratamam pushpam
Pushpam indriya nigraham sarvabhutadaya pushpam shama pushpam visheshataha shanti pushpam tapa pushpam dhyana pushpam tathaiva cha satyam ashtamam pushpam Vishnu Preetikaram Bhavet. Saram.
That they conducted by interviewing their parents. Many health campaigns in today's society solely focus on the effect food has on one's physical state. But Swami has introduced 3 types of food that affect one's emotional state. The Group 2 students gave their parents 3 types of food: Rajasic, Tamasic, and Sattvic. After conducting the survey, they recorded the results of consuming each type of food. They will elaborate on the effects that each food has on the mind and the importance of consuming pure food. Here's Group 2 with their presentation.
Sairam. Today, we're going to present a food survey that on 3 different varieties of food that we have interviewed people on.
Our first food group is Domestic. Domestic food is really oily and cheesy and makes you feel lazy and lethargic.
Examples of domestic food are pizza and many Indian foods like beer and other simple cheese with oil. We interviewed
Sarah Mulligan, you just ate pizza. How do you feel?
Well, I feel very full, and I also feel that all the cheese and the oil and all the tomato sauce is making me somewhat uncomfortable. So it's maybe I overate. Well, my thoughts are more on games, and I'm a sports guy. I talk about football and basketball and right now hockey and baseball, golf. They're all coming through my head, which are, I don't know, somewhat not necessary, but they're those thoughts that come to you when you eat pizza and drink Coke and 7-Up and all that good stuff. So my thoughts are the games.
The next food group is Rajasic. Rajasic food is either very spicy or very sweet. It can make you hyper or it can aggravate you.
Examples of Rajasic food are chocolates and candies. Rajasic food can also be spicy.
We interviewed Mahesh Chobal uncle to see his insight on how he felt after eating a piece of chili pickle.
You just had a piece of chili pickle. How do you feel after eating this?
It's very spicy. I'm feeling restless. I want to run inside and have some water right now. My throat is burning as well.
So what are the thoughts going through your mind?
Right now I'm feeling a little angry, agitated, and very restless because of the chili pickle. And I want to go inside and have water as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Sarah.
Sairam, Sattvic food is balanced and nutritious. It is good for your mind, body, and soul.
Examples of Sattvic foods are fruits and veggies, so make sure you eat your fruits and veggies. We interviewed Sahana auntie after she ate an apple, and this is how she felt with that. How do you feel?
Feeling very happy.
I'm feeling happy. This is such a good apple, crunchy apple. I'm feeling like I'm making a good choice. I'm role modeling the correct thing for my kids. And not to jump.
What are your thoughts that you're thinking of?
I'm very happy and peaceful. You want hands too? Apple a day keeps the doctor away. So you guys keep that in mind. This is a very nutritious food. So that's for my kids.
Up on the screen, there are 3 photos. Can you guess which one is which? The first one on your left, the far left, is Soham. Can you guess what kind of food he ate? That is correct. In the center, we have Omkar. Can you guess what food he ate?
Pizza.
That is correct. And finally, the last one is Sham. Can you guess what food he ate? Once again, that is correct.
These are the 3 qualities of food that affect your daily behavior. Swami has immensely explained that Rajasic and Tamasic food can make you have rash decisions. So eat sattvic food and follow in the footsteps of the Lord. Sairam. Thank you.
Now that we know how to eat healthy, we move on to group 3 and 4. They will enact a story about Mother Teresa and a journalist. This story not only demonstrates the divinity of Mother Teresa, but also highlights the importance of unity and purity that comes with every action. These 3 values, unity, purity, and divinity, will now be demonstrated through the enactment of Mother Teresa's good deeds and how one can learn from her valuable experience. Mother Teresa, a pencil in God's hands.
What did you do this morning?
Pray.
When did you start?
4:30.
And after prayer?
We try to pray through our work by doing it with Jesus, for Jesus, and to Jesus. That helps us put our whole heart and soul into doing it. The dying, the crippled, the unwanted, the unloved, the poor. They are all Jesus in disguise.
People know you as a sort of religious social worker. Do they understand the spiritual basis of your work?
I don't know, but I give them a chance to mingle amongst the poor. Everybody has to experience that. So many young people give up everything to do just that. In our world, that is so unbelievable, isn't it? And yet, it is wonderful. Our volunteers go back as different people.
Does the fact that you are a woman make your message more understandable?
I don't believe in gender interfering with the Lord's message.
But don't you think the world responds better to a mother?
People are not responding because of me, but because of what I'm doing. Before, people were speaking about the poor. Now, more and more are speaking to the poor. That's the great difference. The work has created this. The presence of the poor is known now, especially the underprivileged. Before, nobody bothered about the people in the street. Now, they do.
Why have you been so successful?
Jesus himself made the bread of life to give us life. That's where we begin the day, with Mass. And we end the day with adoration of the Blessed Sacrament. I don't think that I could do this work for even 1 week if I didn't have 4 hours of prayer each day.
Oh, Mother! Mother!
What's the matter, sister?
We had planned poorly. The food preparation is out of control. We have no flour left to make the chapatis for lunch. There are more than 300 nuts waiting to be fed in an hour and a half, and we have nothing to feed them. What should we do now?
Sister, aren't you in charge of the kitchen this week? Well, hurry to the chapel and pray to Jesus and report to him that there is no food.
All right, Mother.
Mother, you have to feed so many people. Is there any way that I can help?
Don't worry. We've told Jesus he'll take care of it.
Humble and faithful as you are, it must be an extraordinary thing to be a vehicle of God's grace in the world.
But it is his work. I think God wants to show his greatness by using nothingness.
You are nothingness?
I'm very sure of that.
You feel you have no special qualities?
I don't think so. I don't claim anything of the work. It's all his work. I'm like a little pencil in his hands. That's it. He does all the thinking. He does all the writing. The pencil has nothing to do with it. The pencil only has to let itself be used.
Mother, there is somebody who would like to see you.
Please, send them in, sister.
Hello, Mother Teresa.
Hello, what can I do for you?
I'm the school principal at one of the nearby schools. Due to the teachers' strike at the schools, we have about 7,000 meals that will go to waste. We were wondering if you could help us use them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. God has heard our humble prayers and has provided for the needs of his children.
I am amazed that your prayer to Jesus has been answered immediately.
Why not? That's a sign that it's his work and that he is using others as instruments. All our sisters. None of us could produce this. Yet see what he has done.
What is God's greatest gift to you?
The poor people.
The poor people? How are they a gift?
They have given me an opportunity to be with Jesus 24 hours a day.
Thank you for that wonderful presentation by Group 4. Moving forward, in our daily lives, prioritization and organization are constant struggles. I, for one, will admit that I have struggled organizing myself a lot of the time. Everyone in this room has a daily list of things to accomplish. Whether or not that's written down, that's a different question. But many times, one may find themselves running out of time to complete the large projects and events that are the most important as well. In this next presentation by our Group 3 students, they will speak about how one can effectively and efficiently finish everything that they need to do on a daily basis. It is all about achieving a balance, which Group 3 will further explain.
Activities in the life of us kids, like me and my friends. In one of our SSE classes, we learned about time management. As you can see, we have prioritized the activities in accordance to time and importance. On the x-axis, we have time. On the y-axis, we have importance. So on the bottom left quadrant, these are the activities that are less important and require less time. For example, this could be texting, Skyping, or reading on the couch. On the bottom right corner, these are the activities that are less important and require more time. For example, some activities in this category could be playing with the iPad or watching TV or even playing with friends. On the top right quadrant, we have, on the top left quadrant, we have activities that are very important and require less time. Such activities could be exercising or spending time with family even. Some activities from the top right quadrant could be homework, studying and projects, or meditation, prayers, etc. These are the activities that are very important and require more time. Now, Pranav and Akhil will demonstrate the importance of prioritizing and the consequences of not prioritizing properly.
Okay, so first we put in the sand, which represents activities like texting or Facebook. We then put in the small pebbles, which represent activities like spending time with family or playing with your friends. We then put in the big rocks, which represent our most important activities like studying for tests or practicing for a class. As you can see, it doesn't fit. Oh no, what am I supposed to do now? I prioritize my activities wrong. Now I don't have time to practice for my test.
Don't worry. I have a more wise and efficient way of prioritizing my time. So first, you would have to put in the big rocks. Like we stated before, the big rocks represent your most important activities, like studying for a test or practicing for a class. Next, we would put in the small pebbles, which represent the smaller activities like playing video games and watching TV and relaxing on the couch. Lastly, we put in the sand, which represents the least important activities that would take a smaller amount of time. These activities would be texting, Facebook, email, and various others. Now, if we switch the order and start with the big rocks first, we find that we can prioritize our time much more wisely and efficiently. Prioritization is basically thoughts leading into words of promise, leading into deeds of action. So, for example, let's say I've committed already to someone for a very important activity, and at the same time my friend asks me, can you do something for me? In the eagerness, I would accept without realizing that I've already committed somewhere else. Later, I would realize that I failed to commit, I failed to prioritize my time properly, so this would lead into dissatisfaction or absence of peace. So we should prioritize our time more efficiently and wisely so that it'll take us one step closer to achieving Trikarana Shuddham, which is unity in thought, words, and deeds. Thank you, sir.
Our final event of the day will be a Carnatic Western fusion piece that the children have come up with very, very little help from the adults. This piece is dedicated to all mothers and, of course, our loving Sarah. We hope you enjoy. Sarah. conclude this afternoon, I just wanted to take a step back and reflect on this wonderful display we have all just witnessed. Why don't we give another round of applause for all the hard work. So the theme for this year was Unity, Purity, and Divinity. And we were fortunate enough to have our Easwaramma Day celebrations on the same day as Mother's Day. And just like Swami's mother, all mothers are the embodiment of this very theme of unity, purity, and divinity. I know for a fact that my mother has always been there for me in times that I needed her, so I'd like to thank her. So before we conclude, on behalf of all the SSE students today, I would like to wish you a happy Mother's Day. Sairam.
Divine Lotus feet of our beloved Mother Sai. On behalf of all the members assembled here, let's thank our SSE team and parents and SSE children who have put a very, very wonderful presentation. You really brought out very compelling messages and action-oriented messages that we can all take home and actually start implementing from right away. Today or tomorrow morning, actually very, very action-oriented messages they brought through. They're simple and yet very powerful presentations. So on behalf of all the members, we would like to thank Swami for guiding them in their efforts as their collective offering, as all of our collective offering to Mother Easwaramma and our beloved Swami. And we also want to thank the parents who have really put in a lot of hard work and effort in helping their children participate in these presentations. We would like to thank the SSE team as well, and for all of you for staying back and encouraging our SSE children. With that, we will move on to the concluding prayers, and then after that there is Mother's Day lunch upstairs, and we request that sisters and children go first for lunch. And just one more quick thing, the SSE team had put together index cards with Swami's picture on one side, and with 8 flowers or virtues and daily actions that we can take to actually follow those virtues. Those index cards will be passed out upstairs, and we request all the mothers and fathers to actually help their children follow those virtues and the actions that are listed on the back of the index cards. Thank you. Sairam.